Hello, good yo-yo people. I'm Nate, and this is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Today, we're going to talk about how to start a yo-yo club. Now, before I get too far into the video, I want to preface that I'm no expert at necessarily facilitating the yo-yo club. I have helped run the club in Columbus here for the last 5 years, off and on, but there might be some people that could speak about this more, but I thought I might have some advice even from my own mistakes and things that I could be doing better too. So some of this video is me humbly saying, hey, I don't have it all together, but here's some of my advice, and some things that I could even teach myself, if that's a thing. I've been running a club here off and on since I moved here in Columbus. When I first moved here, I went ahead and went online and checked out, okay, does anybody actually running a club in Columbus, Ohio? And if there is, where is it? And there wasn't really anything going on. There were a few yo-yoers around, but no one was meeting consistently. So I said, okay, well, let's fix that. And so started looking at some places. And that's probably the first thing here is some people struggle with getting a place consistently. One of the things I found works really well is libraries. You have a library close to you, and most likely they have a room that you can use. We were meeting at a local library, and now we actually meet at a different library, but we still meet at a library, and we meet once a month, so consistently. We try to meet the first Saturday of every month, but the times vary depending on when we can get in there. So libraries work really well, community centers work really well, churches work really well, perhaps, schools as well, but anyways, free places are really good. Having a place where you can be consistently meeting there is really good. One of the things that you struggle with maybe with a club too is making sure there's consistent people coming, and drawing in new members as well. Those are two different issues, but one, make sure it's consistent time. We've already talked about that, but make sure you're meeting regularly. And make sure you post that. We have a Facebook page for our Columbus page, and so I post on there. And that's actually how a lot of people have discovered the club as well, who've never even been into yo-yoing until then. And we've attracted a few from that, just kind of getting the traffic from that. And so making sure that things are posted and consistent. I haven't always been perfect at that, but making sure that there's something consistent and the information's out there. Another thing that you could do, you could even collect emails and send out an email. I don't really do that, but that might be a good idea too. Getting out information in multiple ways is always helpful. The other thing I would say is that attracting new members, there's a couple things I would give advice to. One, go onto Yo-Yo Expert and print off their list of tricks, which is mostly the trick ladder, really. And so if somebody's never really thrown before and they're very new, maybe they just bought their first yo-yo, maybe they've learned unresponsive tricks or how to bind or whatever, but something where they know they can go. What I've done in the past too is have like little competitions who's progressed as far as they can, and so that's always a good incentive. We did for a while also to make sure that people are coming consistently. We would every 3 months or so do a raffle, and so of all kinds of just random stuff, and things from my collection or things people donated or what have you. And so if you came a month, you would have your name put into a drawing. You could get up to 3 times your name put in the drawing. So the more you came, the more your name was in the drawing. And so there was some incentive there of consistently coming and making sure that, hey, club's at, and if I can be there, I'll be there. And having like a core group of people that can help teach kids, especially, or new people, and new tricks. And so it's not just a burden of one person. And so I don't really see that. It's like yes, I'm one of the kind of teachers and people can ask me questions, but I know there's a couple guys in our group that would be definitely willing to help. And so not having the burden completely on yourself as one organizer is always really good too. And so yeah, when the new people come in, and they don't really know a lot of tricks, have an environment that's open to say, hey, can ask questions. This is an environment to learn. I always ask, if somebody's coming in, hey, what tricks are you working on right now? Is there anything you're struggling with? Is there something that I can help you with? And insisting them that way. And I also just kind of, when I bring my yo-yos, I bring a case, and normally I just keep it open. And so they're welcome to play things. I always say, hey, make sure you're careful with it, or what have you, or change the string for them if they're a little shorter. We also like to have a few yo-yos maybe there that are for beginners. It's good to also maybe bring in some other styles of yo-yos too. Maybe have some off-string yo-yos, maybe have some counterweights there, so that people can try out a couple different type of styles. I could not emphasize it enough to make sure you have an environment that is welcoming and hospitable to new people, and just sort of approachable. That's kind of the vibe that you need to get, that it's not like some kind of elitist kind of club that like you have to be at this level of yo-yoing before you come in. I think it's awesome to see whenever new people come in and they get excited about it, and then the next week they come back and they've learned like 30 tricks. I mean, that seriously happens all the time, where especially young kids who are like, wow, I just clicked for me, and I have so many other questions when they come back, and they're excited and they want to buy every yo-yo that's out there. Creating that kind of environment takes some time. You have to nurture it. You have to be intentional about it. You have to make sure that it's kid friendly. And that's really important, so that you have some guidelines to say, hey, especially adults, like, hey, let's make sure we're kid friendly here. Keep our language, to kid friendly language. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing. And just be cool. And because we have a lot of parents that come as well. And that brings me to my other point. If you do have minors, we do some social media stuff from time to time. It's been a while, but if you take pictures or you take video and you put them on the internet, if you put them on your Facebook page or you have an Instagram or something, make sure that you get waivers. Draw up something really quick, and you can go online, you can find out something you can really quick, just to make sure that parents are aware. You need to get consent for taking a picture of a minor, and so that's anybody under 18. So if you have teenagers in there or little kids, that you need to make sure that you get that signature from a parent saying, hey, that's okay if you want to use a picture or video from my child in some promotional thing, that's okay. I try to collect those with members that are consistently showing up, or if I do take a video or something like that, I make sure I check it in with the parent. So you don't ever want to get yourself in trouble with that. You just want to make sure that you're safe with that, so that you bring the parents in on the loop. Because sometimes we have parents who drop off their kids and then come back, and so make sure you check in with them and that you get them on board. And that's the other thing too, especially with younger kids, it's like, make sure that communication's with the parents, and don't just tell the kid, hey, we're meeting this time next month. Make sure you make an eye-to-eye contact at some point with the parent, and just say, hey, this is when we're meeting, and hope you guys can be there, and that sort of thing. All right, to wrap it up here, I would say, one, you need to have a very consistent time and place that you meet that is well posted. That the information is out there, and that it's far enough advanced that people can actually schedule around it. The second thing is that you create and cultivate an environment that is welcoming, that is friendly to new yo-yoers, somebody who's maybe never yo-yoed ever before and is just seeking, to also people who want to get better. So a learning environment as well, where people are not afraid to ask questions, and that is also kid friendly. And so that you are, if you get the parents on your side, they're going to bring their kids consistently every week, because they feel like it's a safe place for their kids to learn and to get away from a stupid screen for just a minute or two. The other thing is, make club fun. Create an environment that inspires that competition maybe in people, or the competitive spirit in people, and give incentives to get better and to learn new tricks, and maybe do giveaways, whatever works for your club. But create an environment that is fun, and people are progressing and getting better at yo-yoing. And so That's going to be it for today. If you have something that you'd like to add, if you go to a club that you really enjoy, the club that you go to, and things that are working I didn't mention, because again, I'm no expert at this. I'm just giving some advice, things that have worked for me and things I could do better. Or maybe you are a facilitator for a club. What works for you guys? What do you do at your club? So I would love to hear that. And as usual, good day and good yo-yo.